Hello, my name is Pearl McHaney.
And I'm Andy Rogers. We're the co-founders of the Revival Lost Southern Voices Literary Festival. I'd like to welcome everyone, tell you a little bit about the festival, how it started, and what sort of it's all about. So it started with an idea that a lot of writers are just not receiving the recognition they deserve. And particularly what started for me was a writer named Raymond Andrews. He had been published in the Chattahoochee Review, which is a publication of Georgia Perimeter College, where I was. And there were a few professors who were very passionate about his work, so I checked him out and read his books. I just couldn't believe how good he was, and I couldn't believe I had never heard of him. So the original idea was to do an event about the work of Raymond Andrews, but pretty quickly I met Pearl and started talking about this idea. It was clear there are a lot of writers and a lot of works that fit that definition. So we got started on an idea of something bigger than just one author.
So in 2016, we were both managing different booths at the Decatur Book Festival when we met all of a sudden on the street among the food trucks, and we started talking about what we could do about these writers that were underappreciated. And so we came up with actually Greg Murray had a gathering where Allison Law, Gina Flowers, many other people were in attendance thinking about how we could have some sort of festival for readers that wasn't an academic or scholarly conference, but really spoke to the public. And so we formed the Lost Southern Voices, Revival Lost Southern Voices, and the Georgia State University Kenneth England Professorship of Southern Literature, Georgia Perimeter Honors Program, Emory University, DeKalb Library Systems, Georgia Humanities, the Georgia Center for the Book. All kinds of people came together thinking that this is a great idea, and we were very much encouraged. And from the beginning, we thought about how Lost and Southern and Voices were all both literal as well as figurative. So the South is very protean to begin with. Every place has South of somewhere. So writers who are from the South or lived in the South or wrote about the South, voices could be visual artists or obviously authors writing texts. Lost could be out of print or underappreciated. And so we really tried to broaden this and invite people to present those lost Southern voices for our readers. Pamela Travers, who wrote Mary Poppins, said once that which is lost is waiting to be found. And I really think that Revival, Lost Southern Voices, helps to do that. So Andy, you want to tell about some of our first guests?
Sure. So when I first approached Pearl, because I knew she knew lots and lots of people to invite, I was thinking maybe 1 out of 10 would accept, because we weren't paying honorariums, we weren't paying appearance fees, we only covered travel and lodging. And it was fantastic. It was like 7 or 8 out of 10, at least. I mean, very few people declined. And when they did, it was because they had a schedule conflict. Most exciting to me personally was when Yusef Kalmanyaka accepted. I had been teaching his poetry for years, and I couldn't believe he was going to fly from New York to Atlanta to talk about George Moses Horton, a man who had been enslaved most of his life and was a great American poet who was truly underappreciated. But he came, and he was, they say don't meet your heroes, but whoever said that hadn't met Yusef Kalmanyaka, because it was just tremendous just to get to meet him and to see how gracious of a person he was and how passionate he was about the work and life of George Moses Horton. And you saw why he wanted to be there, and you saw the passion people really had for great writers and great works, and how important it was to make sure people knew about them.
That's pretty much how our invitations typically went. Who is the writer that means so much to you but hardly is ever read anymore? What is the voice that spoke to you first and you felt their power? Present them to others with the passion that you feel for that person. Valerie Boyd is one who, of course, had a tremendous passion for Zora Neale Hurston, and she spoke at several of the first and several other Lost Southern Voices festivals, and has always been just a tremendous supporter. And then at our 7th Lost Southern Voices, Roz Bentley is going to be speaking about Valerie Boyd's mentorship to so many. So it keeps coming around in this wonderful circle. Jesse Freeman presented about the visual artist Stephen Thomas. Thank you. I was trying to think first, secondly. Stephen Thomas, and now his film, Milk Crate Productions is his film company, just premiered a whole film about Stephen Thomas. And so, of course, Andy and I take a little bit of credit for having that all organized. But the Lost Southern Voices has evolved and changed places. Now it's in full partnership with the Georgia Center for the Book and Georgia State University Perimeter College, with terrific support still from Georgia Humanities and from the DeKalb Library System.
And as the festival has grown and gotten better, it's now directed by Gina Flowers, Carrie Miller, Jennifer Colatosti, of course the Georgia Center for the Book with Joe Davich and Allie Stonewright, have all made this better, I think, than what Pearl and I could have imagined it would be when we first started this idea.
Absolutely. The mission statement for Revival Lost Southern Voices calls this a festival for readers that celebrates historically excluded, erased, or marginalized Southern voices. During this annual conference, invited presenters discuss Southern authors or artists whose works are out of print or otherwise do not receive the attention that they deserve. We invite the public, scholars, students, writers, and inquisitive readers to join the conversation as we continue to discover and revive these lost Southern voices.
That's it. I hope everyone gets a nice long reading list every year that you come.
Thank you.